For our next project, we are going to be creating an album cover. I know albums are olden things from back in the day before digital music, but we're going to still create an album cover. Ms. Pavlik will be showing you some examples of album covers in class. For this assignment, what you will have to do is you will have to create an album cover that will be 1800 by 1800 pixels at 300 resolution. And some of the requirements for this project will be to include an artist name or band name for the album and a title of the album. You must hand draw any graphics that are going to appear on your album. You cannot copy and paste images from Google Images for this project. And you must include one feature of your face, whether it's your ear, your nose, your lips, your eyes, or a silhouette of your whole head, or a side view of your head. But you must include some feature of your face somewhere in the album cover. You have to have color on your album cover, and the graphic that you do have should represent in some way the album name or the band name. When you present this to class, you will be also asked what type of music your band is plays, and to see if that would be represented in this album cover. For the album project, what you're going to do is you're going to first open a new blank file in Photoshop. So you're going to go to File, New, and Blank File. You're going to make sure the settings here are going to be very specific. We're going to change this to 1800 pixels. You might have to hit the down arrow here, and we're going to make this 1800 pixels, and we're going to make it 300 resolution. Okay, and make sure everything else is RGB color and white, and then just hit OK. And you should get a nice big white square. You'll know it's correct when you click down here, and it will show you 1800 by 1800 pixels. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is you need to figure out what body part you're going to put in. The best way to do this is taking a selfie and saving it to your graphic design folder. So I have one already open, so I'm going to hit open, and I already have one saved, so I'm going to just come over here, and I'm just going to grab that one. Not a great selfie, but that's okay. What I'm really interested in is this eye right here. So I want to get my eye. I didn't want to use this one because of the glare off my glasses. And so think about what body part. It could be eyes, eyebrows, nose, lips, ears. It could be the whole shape of your head, or everything from your shoulders up. It cannot be anything below the shoulders on this project. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my marquee tool and just get a rough kind of square of the eye, and I'm going to Control-C and go back to my album here, Control-V, and now I could close my selfie picture. Let's save this. So we're going to hit File, Save As, and let's call it Album Cover, your name, and make sure it's a Photoshop document. Okay, so you'll have several layers on this one. One will be I'm going to call this one eye. You'll have your background, but you might want to unlock that background just by double clicking on it to unlock it. And then you have to figure out what is your band's name and what is your album name going to be. So I'm going to put that on first. I know my band's name is Vivacious G. Vivacious G. And actually, I might put the G on its own layer, just so I could do something differently with it. And I'm going to change the font on that because I don't like that font. So let's see. And maybe I'll make that bigger. Maybe unfold it. And then blur. And I could do something like, but I'll make this one like a different color and then make sure it's above. Okay. And then maybe I'll group those two together. All right, so now they'll move together wherever I move mine. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the name. I don't know the name of my album yet. I want to figure out something about eyes. So let me first clean up my eye and figure out how I want to clean it up. So I'm just going to do like a rough erase around. So make sure you're on the right layer. And I'm just going to kind of get around actually my glass area. And I don't want my glasses to be in this. So I'm going to delete that. No, too close. Okay. So what I could do now is I could play with some stuff and see what I could get to work. So maybe, I don't know, I'm going to try different filters. I'm going to try some artistic filters and see what works and what doesn't work on that layer. First of all, I want to make sure, yep, I'm on my eye layer. And let's try some different stuff here. Just trying to, maybe I'll blur it a little. I don't know. So just trying to try and see what works and what doesn't. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, maybe I'll do that. So maybe I'll make a copy of my eye. Duplicate layer. And I'll leave this eye over here. But maybe on this eye, I'll add that motion blur and make the distance like that. And then if I go back to this layer, add filter, let's do a little bit of a blur on it. So I want a little bit like that. So it looks like it's almost in motion. Kind of cool. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll use my brush tool and use the impressionist brush to kind of, that's not going to work. Maybe I'll use my smudge tool. Make sure I'm on that layer. And zoom in so I could really see what I'm doing. And just really just pull those pixels over. If I need to, I could erase. But I don't need. And then I could try the blur. And then let's try the smudge after that too. Just really smudge it out. But I'm just making kind of, the cool thing about this is there's no right or wrong to this one. And I think on this layer, here, I'm going to make another copy of this. And on this layer, I'm gonna do another motion blur. Just add a little more, like dimension to it. It looks kind of cool that way. And maybe I'll make another copy of it. And oops, undo. Make another copy of this one. Oops, undo. And move it. Kind of fun. Make sure you save every now and then, see where you're going. So I still need to put this in some sort of like, let me see if there's any other filters I could put on this. And any other crazy, maybe you could add a lens flare. That's kind of cool. Keep that there. And again, you're just looking to add some dimension and interest to your album cover to get people to want to pick it up and listen to it. That's the goal of it. All right, so I think I have a name of my album. The name of the album I'm going to call, the album name should be smaller than the band name, okay? And I'm going to kind of call this one Watching as Fast as I Can. I'm going to make that smaller so it all fits. And actually, I'm just going to actually I don't like that font, so I'm going to choose something else. I'm going to choose something small and put this in the corner. And then I will, maybe I'll make this bigger because that's the big focus of the album is the album name. Or maybe I'll put it down here. And then my eye stuff, here. Group all those together and move that up. And then I still need a background for this because white background is very uninteresting. So you cannot copy and paste images from the internet for this project. What you can do is you could draw anything with any of the paintbrushes. You can use any of the custom shape tools to make your own designs. You could use a plain background if you wanted to, just not as interesting, or you could use even a gradient, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint something in to see how it'll look. Okay, so once you have like a graphic on there of some sort with some body parts, you have your album name, which is down here, Watching as Fast as I Can, and I like the little streak going back and forth over there. Vivacious G is my name of my band, because that's awesome. And so I still need to I don't want a white background. I want to make this a little more vibrant. I could either make it a solid color, which is a little boring. But if I make it a solid color, it would look something like this, or a different color. It's okay. I could also do a gradient and mix any colors I want to together for my gradients. There's a lot of different ones out here that you could choose. And just add a gradient. That'd be a little more interesting. And again, you have the different angles too of your gradients that you could add. Once you do, you could also add, just paint something. So Watching as Fast as I Can, maybe for this one, since I have the eye streaks going, I don't know, just try to think of different graphics you could put in to make this a little more interesting. You can look at the different brushes and see what's out there. So I'm going to go down this list and see what's at the bottom here. And you could just try different types of brushes and see what would happen if you mix them together. Other options would be to include like, because again, that would be, and once you do have all kinds of different colors on here, you could maybe blend them together with some other filter. So I'm going to add a bunch of these. I'm going to add some different colors in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Impressionist brush. And what that does is, if you think of like Monet and the pointillism painters, it basically is adding air and moving, spattering the paint out there. So I'm going to make sure I'm on normal here and see what's happening is it's kind of mixing those colors to get together in a slightly different way, making it a little less precise and just mixing it up a little funkier, something different to look at instead of like, if you're not a great painter like I am, this is something you could do to add some variety to your image without a whole lot of artistic talent that some of us may not have. Okay, once you have that done, you could even go back to your filters, make sure you're on that layer, and try some different stuff. So maybe I'm going to add a mosaic tile and have that look like the, ooh, that's kind of interesting, or a crackler. Or let's add some grain effects. Patchwork, stained glass, a texturizer. I like that mosaic tile actually. And you could choose how big the tiles are. Or you could try different stuff. Like there's maybe under stylized, there might be some cool, that one's kind of cool like that. It looks like almost like a camouflage effect that I've added. And again, just the trick is to find something that looks interesting. Ooh, that one's kind of cool. That one's extrude. Let's see if I think that one's kind of cool. It looks like it's three-dimensional almost. All right, I'm pretty happy with that now. What I'm going to do is hit save. And then notice down here, like my, the name of the album name is a little less noticeable. So I'm going to add a stroke to it. And it'll be a black stroke to begin with, but I'm going to change it to a white stroke. So I'm going to choose this one right here. And I'm going to go back to layers here. And there it is, the FX on that layer. I'm going to change this to white so you can see how big it is there. And I can choose the size of it. Something like that. I could choose, maybe I'll change this right here, manual to 5. That looks pretty good. And maybe I'm going to do something similar to my G here. Vivacious G. I'm going to make that one again a white. And maybe not white. I think it's too matchy that way. So I'm going to choose the yellow. Nice bright yellow, Vivacious G. And maybe I'll add a stroke around my G as well. Or up around Vivacious. Oh yeah, that just pops. So now I have an album cover, has a school appropriate body part from the face area of your body. You've added an interesting background. You've added a band name or artist name. That will be your pseudonym. And you've added an album name at the bottom. Remember, when you're done, you're going to file Save As, call it album cover, your name, and make sure it's a Photoshop document in your graphic design folder. And then you're going to save it again as a JPEG. Both JPEG and PSD versions go to Google Classroom, and the JPEG goes to your portfolio page. All right. Please let Ms. Pavlik know if you have any issues, and I can't wait to see your album covers when you're done.